Howdy mates, good morning. How are we all doing? It is Tuesday, May 8th, or May 9th, pardon me, 2023. I'm actually at a trail that is not too far from Franklin, North Carolina. This is the William Bartram Trail, at least a portion of it. That brings you to the Wallace Branch. Anyway, for those of you not familiar, I mentioned in my video at Tessenty that William Bartram was a well-known naturalist during the 18th century. So you figure back in the 1700s, roughly around the time when the Revolutionary War started. But he is recognized as one of the first, I should say, European naturalists to traverse through the southeastern United States. So with his work and among some of his colleagues, you could say that what he was doing was very instrumental in understanding some of the botany of this part of the United States, or what was back then just North America, or the colonies, however you want to put it. Anyway, while I was traversing through here, I have noticed a plethora of different wildflowers that I have not been able to do a video on for quite some time. So to me, of course, throughout this entire trip, it's been an excellent opportunity for a refresher, to brush up, as it were. So right here, I'm sure you guys have seen that before. For those of you who live up north, here we've got something what is known as White Baneberry. Now, they are noted to have their serrated leaves right here, of course, which usually occurs in bundles of 3, as you may have noticed. But then the flowers, they have a unique arrangement. It's kind of like on a spire, and this is considered to be a racheme arrangement. So it kind of looks like, an analogy I like to use is, it's very similar to a firework. But this is also known as doll's eyes, because as it gets later into the summer, they produce these fruits that resemble a doll's eyes. They're very hard, and they're typically white. But please note that all parts of this plant is completely toxic. This is something that you want to avoid consuming. Okay? Moving on. Alright, we've got our next one right here. This is actually one of my favorites. Here, we've got what is known as Jack-in-the-pulpit. Now, Jack refers to the little fruit right there in the middle, in the inside. And then the pulpit, of course, refers to the spathe, which is just a fancy term for a covering. They are known to produce a particular odor that does attract flies. So you could say, in a sense, it is somewhat of a carnivorous plant, but not like entirely, not like a Venus flytrap, for example. But these are perennials. They do come back each year. And typically as it gets into the fall, they do produce these red, very red berries. But same thing. They are also toxic. It's something that you do not want to consume. Or if you do, you may get a really serious burning sensation. Okay. Give me just a second. I gotta walk a little bit. Alright. See this guy right here? Of course, this phone is terrible at zooming properly. But you see the top right there. Look at the center of the frame. You have that small flower that is hanging off from it. And then, as you go down the stem, you can see that it has a whorled arrangement. Not referring to world as in the planet, but rather it's spelled W-H-O-R-L-E-D, whorled. So, an analogy I like to use of whorled is it kind of looks like a wheel. Now, these do typically bloom in May, so we are seeing them at their peak. But at the arrangement, there are typically 9 leaves, or sometimes it might just be 8. But yes, you can see that the flower does droop, and they do require rich soil in the woodlands, which, of course, we are definitely fitting that bill. And for another, they do look very similar to some different orchids that are rare, such as the world pogonia. And why it's called cucumber root is the fact that this is a tuber, very similar to potatoes. And the tubers, or the roots, they taste very similar to cucumber. And that is exactly why it is called that. Yeah, those are one of my favorites. And like, I literally have not seen those since, oh boy, like 2 years ago, since my visit up in Ohio, or when I was still living up there. And I didn't even see them last year in May when I was visiting in Arkansas. They're just easily overlooked just because of how green they are. But yes, the thing is, all of those plants that I just pointed out, you will only see them in this type of setting. Rich woodlands. You will not see them anywhere else. You won't see them in open prairie. They require organic soil. And they require lots of water, too. So sometimes, you know, plants can be picky. You can hear a bunch of wood thrush in the background. Relaxing as always. Alright, take it easy, you guys. Journey on a Journey is onwards. Take care, folks. See ya.